Guess what? It is my birthday today. Welcome to the All About Pregnancy and Birth podcast. I'm Dr. Nicole Calloway Rankins, a board-certified OBGYN who's been in practice for nearly 15 years. I've had the privilege of helping over 1,000 babies into this world, and I'm here to help you be calm, confident, and empowered to have a beautiful pregnancy and birth. Quick note, this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Check out the full disclaimer at drnicolerankins.com/disclaimer. Now let's get to it. Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is episode number 87. Thank you for spending a bit of your time with me today. So this episode is going to be a little bit different. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this episode is being released on my birthday. Yes, today's my birthday. Or when the episode comes out, it'll be my birthday. And it's my 46th birthday. And my 46th birthday is a little bit of a different one for me because with this birthday, I have now lived longer than my older sister, Patrice. She died from cancer the day before her 46th birthday. So this really weird and unfortunate milestone, so to speak, has me reflecting a bit on her life and also my life too. So what I want to do in this episode is just take a few minutes and share the thoughts that have come from that reflection and what that means for me, what it means for you. And then I have a birthday wish that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to try and do this without crying. I'm a complete crier. Like, I will cry at emotional commercials. So we will see if I can get through this without crying. All right. So as I mentioned, with this 46th birthday, I will have lived longer than my older sister, Patrice. She's 10 years older than me. And it's hard to say she was 10 years older than me. She is. I can never get that straight. Anyway, she and I are 10 years apart. And to say that I loved her and adored her is such a complete understatement. She was such a big part of my life. I remember when I was 7 or 8 and she was going off to college, and I held onto her legs at the front door so tight and just begged her to stay. I did not want her to leave. I just loved her so dearly. And y'all, here's the thing. We grew up in Hampton, Virginia, and she was going to Hampton University, which was 15 minutes away. She was right down the street. But for me, it was my big sister was leaving, and it was just such an overwhelming moment for me. And just in general, she was just always a protector. If anybody picked on us, she would handle, and by us, I mean me and my younger sister. I have another sister who's 14 months younger than me. But if anybody picked on us, she would handle it. She just looked out for us. And she was just a great big sister in every sense of the word. And her favorite meal to cook growing up, wait for it, and y'all are gonna be like, for real? Her favorite meal growing up to cook was fried chicken, applesauce, and canned SpaghettiOs. Yes, that is what she made for us whenever she would babysit. She would cook fried chicken, applesauce, and canned SpaghettiOs. And I swear to God, her fried chicken was the best fried chicken in the world. I have yet to find any fried chicken that tastes as good as my sister Patrice's fried chicken. Now, of course, she wasn't perfect. She used to throw shoes at me when I went into her room. And she also used to do stuff like pour pepper directly into my nose. But all in all, she was just an amazing big sister. And thinking about now where I'm at the point in my life where she was just before she died, or when she died, a few things come up. One, of course, is that I'm still angry that she's not here, even though it's been 10 years since she died. I still harbor a bit of anger that she didn't get to live her full potential in her life, or what I would have loved to see. And I don't have her around to be an aunt to my daughters, because I know she would have been an amazing aunt. And I also don't feel like nearly as put together as she seemed. She just always seemed like she had everything together. And I certainly don't feel that way necessarily. Let's talk about something most pregnant women aren't getting enough of: omega-3 DHA. The recommendation is over 200 milligrams a day, but less than 5% of pregnant women in the US meet that. That's one of the reasons I love Ritual's Essential Prenatal. It has 350 milligrams of vegan DHA, plus other key nutrients like methylated folate and choline to support baby's neural tube development. As an OBGYN, I appreciate that Ritual goes beyond the basics. The formula is science-backed, third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes, and every ingredient is traceable. And the delayed release design, it's gentle on the stomach, something that really matters, especially if there's trouble with nausea during pregnancy. You deserve to know exactly what you're putting into your body, especially when it comes to prenatal multivitamins. And with Ritual's dedication to traceable science and sourcing, you always will. See for yourself with 25% off your first month at ritual.com/Dr. Nicole. Start Ritual or add Essential Prenatal to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/Dr. Nicole for 25% off your first month. But I'm also reflecting on or remembering how she really made the best of the 45 years and 364 days that she had on this earth. And although in her life she struggled with some things, like most of us do, and I'm not going to talk about all of her struggles, but one of her struggles was definitely finding her passion. When she finished college, she did like a few odd jobs, and then she became a police officer, and she was a police officer for a few years before she followed in our mom's footsteps and became a teacher. My mom taught math for 50 years. So she became a teacher, and education is my God, where she hit her stride. She was truly a phenomenal and award-winning educator. She taught middle school math, and then she went on to be an assistant principal and then a principal. And it was always at schools where no one else wanted to go. It would be schools that were primarily with Black kids, considered like rough schools. And she just did amazing things for these kids. Her heart and soul was in it. She was also a girls basketball coach. When she was in high school, she played basketball. So she coached AAU basketball. She also coached JV and varsity basketball at our old high school and another high school in the area. And she just cared so deeply about her students. And she went all in on her talents and helped so many people in the process. There were easily 1,000 people at her funeral, and we received like innumerable number of messages from people talking about how she touched their lives. And saying all that kind of brings me back to what this milestone birthday means for me. And essentially what it is, like getting to this point in my life and work of serving pregnant people in the ways that I do through the podcast, the course, still practicing as an obstetrician has been a journey for me. And I talked about that in episode 25 of the podcast, and I'll link to that in the show notes. And it's been amazing and so rewarding, but also sometimes hard, sometimes uncomfortable. And here we go. I'm trying to hold it together, but the tears may start to flow. I have definitely dealt with imposter syndrome for sure, a lot. It's something that I continually have to work on. I know there's somebody out there who may be saying that makes no sense. How can you feel any sort of imposter syndrome? But trust me, I do. But really thinking about my sister and how she lived her life and the gift that I have of my life and my talents. I am so ready with this 46th birthday of mine to step completely into myself and use my talents to serve you the best way that I can. See, I have this podcast and course and social media and things like that, but really the deeper purpose underneath what I do, including practicing as an obstetrician, is to help transform the way pregnant people are cared for in this country, help transform that system from a system that's rooted in misogyny, in taking away power, in a lack of consent and racism, helping transform that system to a system where women are placed at the center of their pregnancy and birth experience and are always treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. And my podcast, my course, being on social media is all about empowering women with information so that they can demand that change, so that they can advocate for that change and the care that they deserve. And I am going full speed, 100% ahead on that. And part of that has been just making some changes in my life and the things that are around me. One of the big things that I've done is that I have assembled a magnificent team of women who are supporting me and helping me do this work. I already had some great help, but I really needed more. I still practice full time as an obstetrician, and to keep all of these pieces and balls in the air and be a wife and be a mother, I just really needed to have more help. And I have an outstanding team of women supporting me doing this work. Also, part of going full speed ahead has been redoing my website. It is now drnicolerankins.com. I resisted that for a really long time because it felt like flashy. It felt like, ooh, Dr. Rankins, like I was putting myself out there like that. And I've come to realize that stepping into and owning Dr. Nicole Rankins and who I am and my work doesn't mean that I'm flashy or that I think I'm better than anyone or anything like that. It just means that that's who I am and I am owning that. So do check out my new website, drnicolerankins.com. Let's be real. Pregnancy has you thinking about everything from what you eat to where you sleep. And if better sleep and a better planet are both on your list, let me put you on to Avocado Green Mattress. This Earth Month, I'm thinking about how small choices can have a huge impact. That's why I love Avocado. Their certified organic mattresses are made with non-toxic materials, built to last, and crafted in their own zero waste facility. Because quality is sustainability. The longer a mattress lasts, the less ends up in a landfill. And listen, they're not just about eco-friendly talk. They back it up. As a climate neutral certified brand and 1% for the Planet member, every Avocado mattress supports a healthier you and a healthier earth. So if you're ready for luxurious sleep that aligns with your values, head to avocadomattress.com today and save up to 10% on certified organic mattresses. Dream of better for you and the planet. And so all of that brings me to my birthday ask. And my birthday ask is this. I would love for you to join me in this work of improving care for women, of making sure that pregnant people are placed at the center of their pregnancy and birth experience and are always treated with compassion, dignity, and respect. And the way that you can do that is you can share this podcast, share it with your friends, share it in your networks, because that helps me reach and serve more people. And I know that happens because a year ago in October of 2019, this podcast had 6,000 downloads that month, right? October of 2019, 6,000 downloads. In the past 30 days, this podcast has been downloaded 35,000 times. And overall, it's been downloaded over 300,000 times. And I know that a big part of that growth is because of you. So thank you for already sharing the podcast, but let's take it up a notch, okay? I want to elevate it for my birthday wish. Let's get to 100,000 downloads a month. When that happens, when we do that, we're helping more people feel like this. And these are just comments that folks have left in the podcast reviews in Apple Podcast. Instantly feel calm, felt empowered to very late in pregnancy change provider and hospital because, quote, my voice and risk weren't being addressed, and then going on to have a wonderful supportive birth, becoming more knowledgeable about the entire birthing experience as a first-time mom, having a husband listen to episodes as well, finding them informative, easy to understand, and having him definitely feel more prepared for pregnancy and birth, loving that was a way that he could be involved, feeling educated, feeling comforted, feeling empowered. So my birthday ask is for you to help me serve more people and help more people feel like that by sharing this podcast. Tell your friends, screenshot it when you listen, post it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at Dr. Nicole Rankins. Instagram is by far my favorite social media platform, but share it on whatever social media platform you use. And when you do that, you, honest to goodness, genuinely help that deeper mission of transforming the way maternity care is delivered from a system based in misogyny, lack of power and control, racism, to one where pregnant people are always treated with compassion, dignity, and respect and placed at the center of their birth experience. So, do not leave me hanging on my birthday, okay? I hope I see some IG stories or posts today and throughout the week. And not just today, actually, but going forward all the time. That is how we get to that 100,000 downloads. That is how you help me serve more people and just bring that experience and help make that lasting change, okay? All right. And I feel like, we need like a hashtag or something. Like, I don't know a hashtag to use. If you got an idea for a hashtag, then DM me on Instagram and let me know so we can put it in the post when folks share and repost and all that kind of great stuff. All right, so that is it for this episode of the podcast. And I was going to say that I got through it without crying, but that's actually not true. I actually had to pause while I was recording, get a little bit of crying out, and then I came back. But I did it. All right, so that's it for this episode. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast in Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. And, I'd love it if you leave an honest review in Apple Podcast. I love reading reviews. I do shout outs from the reviews. I look for ideas for the show from those reviews. It also helps other women to find the show. The more reviews it is, then Apple will kind of put that in front of more people. And Apple, of course, is the biggest podcasting platform. And let me know, what do you think about the new podcast cover art? I absolutely love it. It was actually designed by a designer. His wife is pregnant, and he based the design on the fact that his wife is pregnant. So let me know what you think about the podcast cover art. All right, next week on the podcast is a birth story episode, a really happy one. So do come on back next week. And until then, I wish you a beautiful pregnancy and birth. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the All About Pregnancy and Birth podcast. Head to my website, drnicolerankins.com, to get even more great information, including free downloadable resources on how to manage pain and labor and warning signs to look out for after birth. You'll also find information on my free online class on how to make a birth plan that works, as well as everything you need to know about my signature online childbirth education class, the Birth Preparation Course. Again, that's drnicolerankins.com, and I will see you next week.